the only thing that grows on the Highland cattle are the horns and the fur. In comparison to input and weight gain, the Highland cattle is actually very much on top. This is a vanity breed, 2 pound per day weight gain on average. What kind of cattle breed that is right for you depends upon a lot of things, mainly on your context. In this video I want to give you first some statistics and facts about the Highland cattle breed, and then I'm going to share about my own experience and what we have learned so far. The reason why I'm making this video is because when I went to farming school for 3 years, pretty much everybody around me said the only thing that grows on the Highland cattle are the horns and the fur. Recently I made a video that is called This Might Be the End of Highland Cattle in Sweden, or something like that. Some people even commented this is a vanity breed, it's not good, and as a fact most people don't use the Highland cattle breed for commercial breeding. So let me first give you some facts. I'm going to take my phone out here because I've written this down. These things are taken straight off the internet from the American Association, Highland Cattle Association, from the British, from the Swedish. Those facts are straight taken from them. So the Highland cattle breed is actually our oldest registered breed here on earth. We might have older breeds, we just don't have record from that, but the Highland cattle is the oldest breed, oldest recorded breed. And as the name says, the Scottish Highland cattle, they grew up in the Scottish Highlands under very rough climate. They had poor feed, harsh weather, a lot of rain, a lot of winds. They had to take care of themselves there. They had to fight off predators by themselves. They had to survive in this weather by themselves. They had to find their feet by themselves. Where they needed assistance for birth, they would die, and so on, which really caused a good, healthy, natural selection of the genetics of the breed, and so we have ended up with a very hardy breed. And lots of good characteristics. So let me go here a little bit into the breed characteristics. I'm going to separate this in 3 sections: the breed characteristics, the meat quality, and then the productivity as well, which is very interesting. Breed characteristics, so it's a small breed. Cows are... Hi Lizzie! Cows are very friendly, as you can see. Hey. Cows are not so heavy. They are between 900 to 1200 pounds. Okay, so you can, half of that is in kilos about. Danny, you want to come to me here? Stay by me. The cow is so curious. My son is walking around here. Bulls are 1500 to 1800 pounds. Okay, so for some they're like, oh, a small breed. We are actually looking for a small breed because, oh, you know what? Let me share about that later, about my experience. So they have these huge horns, and for some people they're really intimidating, really scary. Let me just say they know exactly where those horns are. But here are 2 characteristics about this breed's horns. They fight off predators with those real well. We have wolf issues here, that is a good thing. And they use them even to dig deep through thicker layers of snow to do stockpile grazing of grass under there. They have an amazing quality of grazing poor forage. They're browsers. You could consider this breed a browsing breed. They can go on like forestry areas and eat very poor feed and turn this into a high quality meat product. They thrive on pastures and do well on pastures where most other cattle breeds, I should say, not all of them, will actually not do well and suffer. They have a double fur layer. You see that the fur really covers the ears and the eyes, that protects them from flies and so on. But they have this double fur layer that insulates them well, makes them very hardy. In warmer climates they do not grow as much hair, but this has a lot of good impacts on their productivity and health as well, as we shall see. They are amazing mothers. I have never had an issue. They just take care of them super well. The maternal instincts in this breed are amazing, because I think this is really due to the natural selection that they had. They're very calm and friendly. Birth weight is around 35 kilos. A heifer that's giving birth the first time, it's obviously a little bit smaller, but about 35 kilos. So they're fairly small calves if you know anything about cattle, which is why they have such easy births. This is also going to be part of my productivity section. 98% of all births are unassisted. Let me go straight to the meat quality, because obviously we want a high quality meat on this cow. Highland cattle is used mainly for meat production, even though it has been used as a dual purpose breed. They have very high butterfat content in their milk, between 7 to 12%, which is very high, amazingly high. If you even compare that to a Jersey cow, for example. Imagine having 12% butterfat content. You need so much less milk to actually make a high quality cream and butter. Because of the double fur layer that insulates them, they have way less external fat. They don't need that to stay warm. So this also will show in the productivity. I will talk about that in a second. But this makes this meat way less fatty, even though it's marbled real nice. Let me give you some facts here from a study that was made at Glasgow University. 20% more tender than commercial beef, showed the study. And this is very generalized, obviously. They have 7% more protein than other beef, commercial beef. 17% more iron, 4% less cholesterol. And then this is taken from the Swedish Highland Cattle Association website, that they have the largest measured back muscle area, 126 square centimeters. And they are marbled naturally with low input feed. Now, you know, I mentioned these things. It's a really high, it's a premium quality beef. And you know, you are obviously thinking about, okay, why do not more people raise this cattle then? Okay, let me talk about productivity, and then I'm going to share a little bit about my context. They have less external fat, like I just mentioned, because of the double fur layer, which means that that's less fat to trim on a carcass once you process it, and that's more retained value for you. If you have less work there, less to trim. The productivity issue is also, it's a small cow, short legs, not much air between the cow and the bottom that needs to be maintained by high feed cost. And because they're insulated so well, Danny, can you come here? Huh? Can you come here? Don't want you to be so close to the cow there by yourself. Because they have this good insulation and relatively small body weight, they eat 15% less winter feed than other cows. Okay? So you have a grown cow here. It's a huge productivity thing for your economy if you have 15% less winter feed per head. Especially important in climates like where we are. I'm going to talk about that in context. You have followed our channel for a long time. The number one reason why we originally wanted to get Highland cattle was because they have maybe one of the best characteristics when it comes to crossbreeding. Are you singing?
No.
Yeah, no, you're not? Okay. They have such diverse genetics compared to other breeds, such unique genetics, that when you crossbreed them, the hybrid effect, which is typically more health, faster growth, it is quite big. I talked to one farmer who did a crossbreeding where the calves, he crossbred with the Galloway breed, and they grew 30% faster than a pure Highland cattle and 15% faster than a pure Galloway. So the effect was very high, and so you still have the hardiness, you still have the health, you still have the premium quality meat, but faster growing. So that's, if you followed us, that's what we have been looking for. Like I said, 98% of births unassisted. Now this is huge for productivity, because we used to have Charolais breed here. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but we used to have a couple of those cows, and let me tell you, birth was not unassisted. Calves are huge. It's difficult. With most breeds, you know, especially modern, bigger breeds, that is a number that's unheard of, pretty much. And sleepless nights and so on. It's a pain. It costs time. It costs money. You have way less vet costs. Okay, so you have a super healthy breed with very low veterinarian costs. The cows are fertile up to 20 years, sometimes even 21 years. They have 12 to 15 healthy calves, a calf each year, which is super exciting because it lowers your cost of having to replace a cow. Danny, come here, please. It also the experience that these older cows can pass on to the younger generation is amazing. And also considering that I do not want to recruit heifers from a first or second year calfer, just above that, it just gives you a way longer lifespan of being able to recruit new cattle. I talked about the butterfat and milk. It is a very high quality meat, like I said. For productivity, you really, if you want to produce a premium quality product, you know, which that is one of the problems on the market today, is that the demand for that has just gotten so little. But this cattle breed produces just that. And now here's a fact now off the record. I found this somewhere, I read this somewhere, but I can't find it anymore, so I don't want to put it in this video as an official fact that I read, because I can't find the information longer. But I read somewhere that in comparison to input and weight gain, the Highland cattle is actually very much on top of all the breeds. Now they are slow growers, but you know, it doesn't matter if a cow grows super fast if you have to put in super expensive feed. Now this is huge in productivity. Like I said, you can have Highland cattle graze in swampy areas because of their low weight. They are able to do that. You can have them graze in mountains or poor pastures in general, and they will turn this into an amazing meat product. I have read of farmers who have a 2 pound per day weight gain on average. There's a lot of potential here. So let me talk a little bit about the context that we have and why I believe this breed is not being used anymore so much. It is being used definitely, but not so much in modern agriculture. I think the main thing is that the demand for premium meat, the knowledge about healthy meat and food has declined a lot. People just don't want this and look for this as much. They don't demand it. So what we have is a system where there is no room anymore, for the most part, for high-end products, for premium products. We have made a system where we want a fast-growing cow, and we put lots of grain and corn into this. Now, if you know anything about my channel, I am strongly against feeding any kind of grain or corn to cattle, to herbivores. So this has resulted in that the kind of breeds that we work with today, they have gotten bigger, and you have to put in high quality feed with, let's say, lots of grain and supplements in it, hormones to get a good growth. I think when farmers start looking for cattle breeds that finish really well on grass and do really well on grass and maintain a really good health on grass, which they are designed to do, that's what they naturally do, then a lot of these modern cattle breeds go out of the picture right away. So even if you talk to, for example, Joel Salatin from Polyface Farm, he says that they look for 1950s, 1960s genetics in their cattle. Now there are other breeds that finish well on grass. You have the Galloway breed. I think Hereford is one. I think you have the Simmental or Fleckvieh is a large, big beef breed that actually finishes okay on grass. But generally, the issue is, you know, that we have, I think, the wrong thinking in agriculture, where we put this expensive grain into them, and we're not looking for this high quality meat anymore. In my context, this breed works really well. I obviously want to feed just with hay and obviously some minerals and stuff. We want to have a cattle breed that has all these characteristics. It's healthy. We don't want to have the veterinarian on the farm if possible. It costs so much money just making the phone call and coming out. It's a few $100s gone. If we can avoid that, I think we have succeeded in something. So this is an amazing thing with this cattle breed, because I forgot to mention this earlier, but it's very healthy, doesn't get many sicknesses. You saw me having a video of the fly strike where the maggots, where the flies laid their eggs and the maggots ate the calf. You know, the reason why this happened is, and yes, this cattle breed is more sensitive towards that, but the only time that happens is if the calves come at an unnatural time during summer, which in nature, they are never born in that way. In nature, all the herbivores get their babies in the spring, and if you do this before midsummer, Highland farmers have told me that there's no risk for this. And so that was a cow we bought in. That's why the calf was born that time. We didn't have control over that. We always have our calving going on April, May. Anyway, generally this cattle breed is very, very healthy. Now, we live in a cold climate, so we can take advantage of all those things. We have wolves here, so I think that these horns are good as well. Not that I would be worried if they didn't have horns, but I think, you know, if this wolf population, it just gets stronger at the moment here in Sweden, I think this can make a difference. Just the health and the growth and how well they finish on grass, it works really, really well for me. They don't destroy our grounds. We can have very wet summers here, and less weight on the hooves means less damage to the ground. We look for a premium quality meat, and we want to produce that. We absolutely do not want to feed grain. Now, one of the things is that people say that their double fur layer can get very dirty. Now, here's the thing. This breed is not for you if you look for feedlot cattle raising and industrial cattle raising and grain fed. We keep a clean bedding. We do daily moves, and their fur stays clean. These are shiny cows. Feedlots and locked into stables and stuff, they will get full of manure. They will be dirty. So it won't work. So you need to raise them the right way in the right context. Again, this breed is not for the industrial farmer. It is not for the farmer who wants to do grain fed and the farmer who just is worried about quantity and not quality. For me, the most important thing is that I can feed them, you know, with less feed than other cattle, and should it get really tough, really hard, like this year with the worst drought in almost 100 years here in Sweden, winter feed is short, things are difficult, these cattle, they can survive much better on eating poor feed. Can put them in the forest, they can eat more leaves, I can stretch them much more during the winter and ration the feed. They have to eat less. All those things make this a very good breed for me, a sustainable breed, and I'm very excited to someday cross breed them. I have all the mother flock, the herd. Actually, I just learned that it's called foaled for Highland cattle, not herd. The mothers are Highland cattle with these awesome characteristics. All their calves will still have good characteristics, but faster growth and no horns if I, for example, crossbreed with the belted Galloway. So there are a lot of exciting things here that you can do. Question, why don't more people have this breed? Because I think our agriculture... Danny, come here to me. The bull is there. Come here to me. Get away. Yes. The reason why not more people have this breed is because agriculture is just it just functions in a different way today in general, and I believe in a wrong way, and that's why a breed that is not common in modern industrial agriculture is not looked at as good, you know, but we look at it as good and as a sustainable breed. Hope you found this interesting and helpful, even if you're not a cattle farmer. I wanted to make this video and say this, and again, I really oppose industrial agriculture, and we have some people on here who talk about this and come very critically at me and our channel and like-minded folks from this viewpoint of industrial agriculture. Let me say again, I learned industrial agriculture in school for 3 years. We have had 3 different kinds of cattle breeds before this one. One was a heavy modern cattle breed that had to be fed with grain. We have made our experiences. I've worked on dairy farms, and I come to this. Now, choice is yours. You don't have to agree with me, but I can say, maybe not in defense of the Highland cattle breed, but just to put out some facts and understanding there. Hope you enjoyed this, guys. Bye-bye.